And joining us now from beautiful Victoria, BC is our hockey insider, Bob McKenzie. Bob, Alex Formenton injured in overtime. What is the latest on the Sens prospect?
Right now, it seems like too soon to know. It didn't look good. I think there was about just a little more than a dozen seconds left in the overtime period, and he was driving the net. One of the U Sports defensemen came across and went leg on leg, and it was hard to tell whether it was his knee or his quad, Charlie horse, but you could tell that he was in a lot of pain, rolled around on the ice, kind of got himself off, but under pretty severe duress. And then the getting to the dressing room was really difficult for him, and it took multiple people to help him get to the room. So fingers crossed if you're Team Canada, because Alex Formenton is an integral part of this team. You know, he was on the team last year, one of only 2 returning players, potentially a captain for this team, but we'll have to wait and get some official word on what the status is, but too soon at this moment to say.
Anybody stand out to you during Wednesday's exhibition?
Well, it was pretty obvious Jack Niko was the best player on the ice. He scored both goals for Team Canada. Boston Bruin prospect who plays for the Oshawa Generals. And he was already coming into this camp with a real good shot of being on the team, and he certainly went a long way towards putting an exclamation point on that. He was playing in a line with Morgan Frost from the Sioux Greyhounds, Philadelphia Flyer first-rounder, and Alexis Lafreniere, who's been tearing up the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League this year for Rimouski and isn't eligible for the NHL draft until 2020. That line was really good offensively. Studnicka was the best of the bunch of them. Frost made some really nice plays. Lafreniere doesn't look like a 17-year-old. He looked very confident, comfortable out there. So that line was really good, and Studnicka was terrific.
Bob, Michael DiPietro was thought to be the front runner to be Canada's starting goaltender. He and Ian Scott split goaltending duties. Scott is having a great year in the dub. Any chance Scott is really going to challenge DiPietro here for the #1 job?
Well, you know what? It's actually just this week is way too soon to talk about who the #1 goaltender is. They've got to pick them first, and it's an interesting scenario because you had Matt Villalta, who's an LA King prospect who plays for the Sioux Greyhounds, and the perceived #3 goalie coming in behind DiPietro and Scott, and he played the full game for U Sports here tonight and played very, very well. That was the good news for him. Bad news is that DiPietro let in 1 goal and looked very sharp, and Scott let in 1 goal and looked very sharp, and based on their body of work, DiPietro's whole junior career plus the summer camp, Ian Scott, the numbers that he's put up as an unsigned Maple Leaf prospect who plays for Prince Albert, the numbers he's put up for the Prince Albert Raiders this year have been absolutely insane. So those 2 guys would appear to have a leg up on Villalta. As for who's #1 and who's #2, there's 3 pre-tournament games next week against international competition where that gets squared away. A lot of people perceive that maybe DiPietro's got a bit of an edge, but that's next week's conversation. This week's is which guy gets cut, and right now going into this, based on this performance tonight, there was nothing to suggest that DiPietro or Scott wouldn't be the 2 guys, but not because Villalta did anything wrong. He was real good.
Bob, is it just me or are you standing in a great-looking rink?
It is a nice rink, beautiful. It's called the Q, and it's the home to the Victoria Grizzlies, and there's a Jamie Benn and Jordy Benn retired jerseys up there in the rafters, so the Junior A team here. And it's also a real good Junior A team this year. The World Junior A Challenge that's going on right now, they got a half a dozen players from the Victoria Grizzlies that are playing in that tournament, including Alex Newhook, who's going to be likely to be a first-round pick in this year's draft. So it's a great barn, great city, and it's been a good week.
Bob, take Mark Masters to Taco Fino for lunch tomorrow. You won't regret it, my friend.
Yeah, we don't have time to enjoy the sights and scenery around Victoria. This is a very hard-working group here, unlike the outfit that you guys belong to.
You're right, Bob. You're right.